Hi, this is Dominic from Paphos Life, and today's film is going to be a summary of the fire damage above Limassol after the terrible fires they had over the last few days. I've done all the filming now, but I was on my way back and I realised that was a good spot to get a vantage point from the west showing the scale of the damage. I'm approaching Pakna now, on the way to Avdamu and Pizuri. But that puts me on the western tip of it, and it goes east as far as the eye can see. And I was driving for over an hour through burnt out areas. So the rest of this film is going to be driving footage. I might bring in some drone footage as well, but I'll probably do that as a separate film. But I will stick a link up on the description or on the screen now, which if you go to that, it's an article we did on Paphos Live saying how you can support the people affected. So we're starting off in the village of Souni, and we'll have the map up, and we're going to be going quite a long journey up through Souni and Kividz. Then we're going to be going towards Lafu and then come back on ourselves up to Pera Pedi. I should say that we don't show all of this route, this is the highlight, so to speak, through Vouni, and then we'll finish off by going in a loop round to Omodos. Yes, the full film is about an hour and a half long, so I've cut this down to about 20 minutes. So in Sunni you can see various villas have been damaged. I'm going to take you little bits from various places in the village. It amazed me that like some villas get wrecked and others right next to them seem to survive unscathed. I guess that all depends on how the wind's blowing at any one particular moment and whether you're there. I'm at the other side of it now. You can just see the countryside all burnt out behind these houses, but those houses seemed okay. But on the other side there was some more that got badly affected. Terrible. I mean, imagine that being your home. And the EAB, the electricity board, were out in force in multiple places getting the electricity back up, and they have got a humongous job. I can't believe how many telegraph and electricity poles were down on my drive I saw. So they're doing a sterling job in what must be terrible circumstances. Right, there's some burnt poles there which they piled up. You can just see on the left. And we'll go to another part of Souni. There is an awful lot of blaming and counter-blaming going on in the political landscape of Cyprus. There's some more houses terribly burned. One story I did see in the papers, unrelated to this, was that the deputy mayors of the Karmas and Polis have been highlighting that the cabs fitted with firefighting equipment and given to the various villages that there have been repurposed, which, if it is the case, is a scandal. Because fires, it's not a question of if they happen, it's when they're going to happen. And if you do that to what's supposed to have been provided to save you, then you'll see stuff like this and worse. Now we're coming to, I've been down this route a few years ago, and there weren't anywhere near as many houses there in those times. It was one of the ways of getting to the abandoned ranch. I've no idea what state that's in. But it's interesting because there is a church down here, and that was burned as well. I say that's interesting because one of the weirdest comments I saw on social media with regards to these fires was that it was God's judgment on evil people. And well, all I would say to that is, first of all, the churches went up too, so how do you explain that? And I think you also need to pay a bit more attention to the scriptures you like to quote. But I'm not going to get into any more of that because it's pointless even giving. There's the church I was referring to just over there. Anyway, we're back on the main. We're back heading towards the main road again now. Still in Souni. And the surrounding areas don't look so bad just yet, but there's, I mean, compared to what's to come in terms of vegetation destruction, it's going to be a bit of a shock. So now we're heading up into Kividz, and this is where it gets weird because I'm driving through the village here, and this half of the village, which was unaffected, life is going on as normal as you'd expect, because I think you'll see what looks like a family packing up to go and spend a day on the beach or something there. But it was when I got to the end and drove along this road, and I could see to the east, because this is high up, so I could see a lot of countryside to the east, and then it becomes apparent just how widespread it was. Now I do want to make a point. It wasn't a third of the island, as I've seen reported somewhere. That's just completely ridiculous. I don't know who came up with that figure, but if your news source said that, then you want to question what your news source is telling you, because it's all porkies. There's a fire engine here, though. You'd expect that. Keeping an eye on things to make sure it doesn't flare up again. I think if you did the maths, it's about between 1.5% and 2% of the island was affected by the fire. So it was very big as fires goes. There's no way it was a third of the island. Okay. Right, we're back on the main road now. And we're going to be coming to a junction soon, but this is another point where you begin to realise just how widespread it all is. Because I was on both sides now. It's just sheer devastation. And I have to reiterate that the full film is about an hour and a half over that long. And I've edited out an awful lot just so that it becomes more manageable. I will publish the whole thing at some point because it might be useful for anybody who's got property out here and is away from the island at the moment. Damage to a telegraph pole is quite severe. There they are repairing them. Sterling works hard. It looks like a huge bomb's gone off. It's obliterated most of the countryside. It never seems to amaze me how you get the odd tree that's still there though. Now we're coming up to the turning for Lafu. And again, it's more of the same. I am fascinated. This is completely at odds with the tone of the film, really, though. But I'm fascinated by all the terracing they have in the fields here, which is no longer used. But at one point, there must have been quite a lot of farmland here. In one way, I guess it's a shame that it's no longer used, because had it been cultivated farmland, it wouldn't have burned so easily. I mean, some of that terracing is really steep over there. But it's all over the terrain in this part of Limassol. Now, I remember driving down here when it was all verdant and green. What a pretty little gorge area it was. Now it's all been destroyed. I mean, the countryside itself won't take that long to repair itself. I mean, the trees will obviously take longer, but the appearance of the hills will soon be back to normal in like 3 or 4 years, I'd say. I guess it depends on what they use to put the fires out with. If they use salt water, as they had to do up here at Polis, then it'll take longer. But from what I read, they did use water from the reservoir, but not. I mean, one thing it did stress it's not going to have that much of an impact on reservoir water levels, which are already perilously low anyway. So here's a junction we'll take. We're in, I think it's Ayos Ferapon at the moment, and we're turning right to head towards the road to Lafu. The villages seem to be, I mean, like, there will have been damaged buildings on the outskirts, but the hearts of the villages seem to have escaped most of the damage, which is good to see. It's difficult coming up with things to say, other than that it's all terrible. But this was the view I had. See, there's a little lookout or picnic spot over there that survived it. I guess where you've got like a big expanse, it's all scrubland. The fire's going to go quite quickly through that, and so correspondingly to the bigger structures, it'll do less damage. I don't know how this field here survived. That's a bit of a puzzle. But for whatever reason, it didn't burn like the rest of them. Anyway, now we're heading through Lafu itself. Seem to avoid it. Most of the village did. I got to be careful because I couldn't say Lafu didn't get burnt when there will be houses on the outskirts which probably did, and the owners of which would not take kindly to be forgotten, so to speak, in that sense. So I'm only going, when I say a village didn't get burnt, I'm talking about the centre, so I do have my apologies. Also, I can only go on what, because I deliberately didn't go driving down little side roads that looked like there was lots of work being doing because of damage. Didn't want to be a ghoul. There's more fire down here. There was a little fire engine as well, just hanging around, making sure that nothing rears up again. I had to stop there, and I got quite a lot of ash appearing on the lens, you may have noticed. Right, now we're heading towards Pera Pedi. And you can see some more telegraph poles that are in a sick state, as well as more terracing. Definitely have a thing about terracing. But look on the side of the roads here. Definitely wouldn't want to be in the electricity board now. I mean, the electricity board get a lot of stick, but when it comes to emergency situations like this, they're really on the ball. But there's just so much to do here. I cannot stress. Normally at about this time I'd be doing some marketing or something like that, but there'll be a link in the description which takes you to an article we did on how you can help fire damage or survivors. Realistically, if you're in the UK, it's going to be financial help, and there'll be bank accounts provided by the government and the Limassol municipality where you can send money to help. So please do if you can. Because David's film's been going on for about 15 minutes. In actual fact, I've been driving about an hour by now. That gives you some appreciation of the scale of the fire. But now we're coming to the other side of it. There's something, it does actually end. It's good to know. And from here, we're going through Pera Pedi. And then we're going to be coming and heading back down towards Kividz again on a different road. See, this is what the countryside you just driven through, what it should look like. But I can't stress enough though, the countryside itself will recover fairly quickly. I mean, that doesn't do anything for farmers and their crops or anything like that, but in terms of the tourism side, it won't be damaged for long. I was very pleased when I drove down here though, that this valley that I'm going through had survived the fires, because there's a very nice little monastery and restaurants here. The little monasteries in the side of the cliff. I did an article on it a few years ago. I've been meaning to revisit to do another one. But at least you can see that it's all in one piece still. They must have been in a terrible state, the people here. Because they were right in the middle of it, but they got off scot-free luckily. We come out the other side, and now we're approaching Vouni, and we had left the fire damaged area. Now we're going back into it. There's some weird shapes on the hillside on the other side of the valley. I mean, I don't know what that looked like. I can't remember the last time I drove down here what it looked like before the fires, but it's very heavy set. So we're approaching Vouni, and Vouni, the heart of the village, had a very lucky escape, I think, because the drone, I did some drone footage, and you can see as far as the eye could see in all directions around Vouni was burned, but they managed to save the village. Again, with the caveat that some buildings on the outskirts probably went up, I'm afraid. I don't know how this place here survived. Perhaps there's nothing there to burn, it's just like a roof cover. I don't know. it's just destruction everywhere. And again, the pylons are in a real state. Cables everywhere. I assume they turned off all the electricity around here. Devastating. Have a little fire truck. Good on ya. And now we're going through Vouni itself. Yeah, if you've seen the drone footage I did of Vouni, which is the second scene, how it survived, I don't know. There's even buses running there now again. And this is it from the other side. All charred and burned. Well, the countryside anyway. So yeah, as I said before, go to the article. I'll put a link up. And if you can, please do donate money to either of the bank accounts. Or you'll find collection points around Paphos, Limassol and most of Cyprus where you can donate goods if you're here. Check first though as to what's actually needed. They don't need to end up with half a hundredweight of pasta, for instance. Right, this is just showing you what driving, what most of the hour and a half film I did looks like, basically. As bleak as this. So yeah, I'll put out the full version of this as well. You're just coming up to returning for Avdemu, heading back up to Omodos now. Just so you know where we are. That's where you'd go. And I'd take you down to Preservi as well. We're on our way to Omodos. There was a car wreck here on the right, yeah. Hopefully no one was hurt in that, and it was just an abandoned car that went up in smoke. Total devastation. Now, fairly soon we'll be coming to Omodos itself. And I'm very pleased to say that actually escaped the fire. It had a very close shave there. I would say we're leaving the burnt area again, but it's actually, there is more of it to our left. And it was that fact which nearly made them evacuate Omodos. But I don't think they did in the end. You can just see it on the left there. And we're coming into the village itself now, which is a very popular village. Whenever anyone asks where can I go to the traditional village up in Cyprus, up in the mountainside, people always say I'll go to Omodos. And the village is still intact, I'm very happy to say. But you can see how close they came, not here so much because you can see it in the distance, but as the camera car park pans round, the hill in the background is all burned, and that was very close to them. But thankfully the village was saved, which is one bit of good news. It was a very depressing drive, I have to say. Not the sort of thing I want to do again, but I thought it was important to show people so that they can help, and also to allay any of this third of the island was burnt nonsense and stuff like that. I want to present some actual footage with you, and I will do the long form version as well and the 360 version, but that's going to take a long time to upload because of the sizes of them. Bit morbid finishing with a graveyard, but now I'm going to finish up the road here, which is where I flew the drone for the last part of the drone footage. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please help if you can, and all our thoughts and prayers go to the people of Limassol who were affected by the fire. May they recover speedily and be able to get on with their lives with minimum hassle. Okay, thanks for watching.